Let's hope the camera's working. Hi. Can everyone hear me? Good morning. I have a guest again. Oof, okay, baby, hold on. We're feeling better, but hungry. Oh my goodness. We are finally hungry after not being hungry and after being very sick for a long time. So I'm giving in. Yes, it's Miss Sadie. You can see her fur still has a little bit of a way to go. And I'm kind of in lower light today. Hello, hello. One of the reasons I did not go live last night is I'm having a problem with one of my eyes. And so Connie would be the favorite guest, but I meant her. Connie is having a lovely weekend. And she actually has a guest of her own, so she will not be joining us today. But Miss Sadie is here, who is if universe didn't, distribute her to me, I don't know what happened there. Good morning. Hi, I saw April. Hi, Maricela and Juan and Little John and Will and Anya and Hannah and Adva and Corey and hi, Jaretha. I think I saw Moanne. I did. Hello, Venus Cloud. I saw everybody peeking in. Okay. Give me one more second here. I'm also a little swollen today, but it is what it is. As soon as the baby gets a little bit more, we can begin. I'm being held hostage by this, she is the sweetest creature. And we were touch and go, but one more. So today, yes, well, while she's munching away, I'm just going to give you a tiny bit of hello, Jupiter Jazz. So she came running up to me and I could tell immediately that she was not being cared for, and she was super sweet. And when I gave her food, there's no more food on that Lazy Susan for you, babe, but there's water down there. This is after a bath, and I've been trying to make her homemade food and whatnot with oils in it. I'm trying to get her to show her sweet little face, but when I took her to the vet the next day after we found her, we looked all over everywhere. No one even reported her missing. She was clearly abandoned, and the vet said that she had probably been on the street for at minimum a year. And I don't understand how somebody else didn't take her in, because she's just incredibly sweet. But then after we got her, it turns out she has a reoccurring upper respiratory virus. So she is extra care, but she's not my first special needs pet. And I am a medical mama, so my last one was born. My first two were just huge and super healthy and practically walked out of the hospital. But my last one was born with birth defects and special needs, and I used to have to tube him, and lived the first year at a children's hospital. So like having a cat that has special needs is like nothing. But she definitely found us, and we are very, very lucky. And she might make a second visit today. We'll see. But I'm very glad to sit here and tell you that she's doing much better, because it wasn't okay for a while. Speaking of okay, and thank you all for indulging me in that, she's a survivor, and she makes me feel like I should complain about a lot less. She was, I don't know how, yeah, through winters and everything else. Anyway, so hi Flower Beauty. So I hope you are all doing, this was like the nicest aspect transit thing we've had, the astrologically and energetically, the new moon in Taurus. I'm wondering how you all self-cared and soaked in that energy last night. I cooked a lot for my family, like a lot. And we just spent time together, which felt appropriate for a new moon in Taurus with my 2 Taurus babies. So I'm wondering how you all were doing, and I hope you gave yourself some self-care. This eclipse season, between the 29th anaretic degree new moon solar eclipse in April, and that last lunar eclipse in Scorpio, everybody got rocked. Most people were examining their lives and felt a lot of things and had things come up that they thought they had healed completely. So last night felt really good, and it would be not surprising if a couple of you felt a little lighter today, or a lot of you felt a little lighter today. I'm trying not to be so hard on myself, hence showing up like this, because my eye was still bothering me, and I was like, all right, well, I'm still gonna come do it, and I just look crazy. So we're gonna do the classic, I'm gonna go through the signs, and we're gonna start with Aries. We're gonna go through the elements, and at the end I'm gonna give away a reading at the end. And we'll see how I'm feeling if I answer any questions at the end. Trying not to push myself. But I hope you all are feeling much lighter today. That new moon was beautiful. I'm not going to get into it a whole lot astrologically. And hi, Syra. Yeah. But woo! Now listen. Everything that felt hard the last couple of months or last couple of weeks, and the lethargy with all of that, all of the placements in Taurus, the lethargy was real. But everything that felt hard, or that you didn't expect to have to process, like again, if you've already processed it, that would be great, Juan. Thank you. Is to set you up for something that's coming. Probably for a lot of people towards the fall. But anything that you thought you processed, and then you ended up getting another layer out of it, digging deeper, maybe for quite a few people, coming to grips with something you felt that you shed, that you healed, having to do with how you're perceived by others and how that's made you perceive yourself. if it's been a little rough going concerning that, off and on, and like one day you're good, one day you're not, a lot of emotions, it's supposed to come up so you can purge it, because there is something that it's preparing you for, because you'll meet the next really beautiful thing that's coming into your life, or the next transition, without attachments or expectations that you used to carry. Hi, Gemini love. Okay, so are you gonna come up on the table through here? She doesn't do big jumps because like her paws hurt her, and I can see her eyeing up this corner of my table because there's a couch there. So I'm just clearing a path before we all hear like a bunch of cards on the floor. Okay. All right, so let's start. I'm trying to push everything back over here this way. Did you want more of that? What is going on? These are her favorite Swedish lickable treats, because she was so sick she couldn't eat. Hey, shorty. Okay. There she comes again. They're so hard to find. I'm gonna have to order a case of them. Hi, Karen. Hi, Charlie. All right, so let's everybody take a big breath. Let's be grateful for that new moon, and for new energy, and for things to just not feel so heavy. And let's take a deep breath and give our adult selves a hug and give our inner child a hug. It's really easy to be gentle and kind and sweet and hug our inner child. Sometimes we're not as kind to our adult selves. And so I'm just going to invite everybody to like take a breath and invite the lighter energy. Invite this love that we feel honestly in the community, and also give that back to yourself. Give it to yourself first. Put your oxygen mask on first. I'm really good at saying that. I'm not always good at doing it. And let's take a deep breath and just be really proud of ourselves for every emotion that was processed, for every thing that we conquered instead of buried our heads, for everything that we took accountability for, but didn't take accountability and bathe it in shame. Because, you know, a Scorpio eclipse will have you deep diving, and it's really important to just acknowledge that there could have been shame, and that you don't do that anymore. Okay. Sweet girl. Let's start with Aries. Okay, we're going to use the David Bowie Starman Tarot. Are you just going to hang out? Hi. I don't know if you're going to like this noise. Do you want to go back on the couch? You're kind of on TV. I can't just feed you the whole time. There's probably a channel for that, but it's not this. Do you need help going back to the couch? Oh my goodness. Okay. you go. Do not. Okay. You're gonna help. Let's get this out of here. Oh. Thank you. We need these. Thank you. Very interesting, Aries. The tarot cards that came out for you was... Oh. Were the Three of Cups. So we have some kind of celebration or reunion here. Yes, there's triangulation. This can also be like community or support, which is really, really beautiful. But we also have the Nine of Cups, and it came out in reverse. Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment. It's also self-love. You've heard me all, unless you're new. Hey, Jacqueline. Unless you're, hi, Shauna. Unless you're new, you've heard me say it before. The best 10 of Cups is the Nine of Cups, and then somebody offers you, and that is your Nine of Cups. And then somebody offers you the Ace of Cups to make that 10, because that means that, like, whether they take that cup away, you still have 9. You are still happy in your life. You don't feel like, unless you have somebody else, it's not completed, blah, blah, blah. It's in reverse. First, let me show you this gorgeous card. It's also wish fulfillment. It's in reverse, meaning, it feels like, Aries, there's something to celebrate. Something good has happened. You may be receiving support from someplace that you haven't prior. And also, this may have been, this wish fulfillment involved too, may have felt like something that you waited for so long, that it feels too good to be true. And there may be a part of you thinking that you don't get to keep it. There may be a little part of you, Aries placements, first house placements, that you may have a little fear around if this does completely, is it too early to celebrate? Is it premature to celebrate? Do you get to keep it this time? Will it all just crumble away? Will this thing that you're so hyped up for and you're so ready to dive into pull back? Whether that's a job offer, a house, a new stable life arrangement, whether it's love. Hi, Danny. There's plenty of reason to celebrate. There's a little, from experience, from previous experience, there's a little part of you that's worried, like, is this person or this situation that's so ready to celebrate me and my involvement, or this coming together, are they really seeing me? Are they seeing the authenticity that's so important to Aries placements? Or when they dig into the complete 100% real me, is it going to fall apart? Usually I draw another oracle card. I don't know how I would be reading today, so instead we're going to take a card from a different deck to confirm. Hi, honey. You're just going to sit there? A sweet Sadie. You're just going to sit there? Sweet Sadie. You're just going to sit there? Okay. Are you coming up? I can't tell. Let's get a confirmation. You know, Aries has a confidence. It's very attractive. And so I think one of what I'm picking up is one of the experiences has been Aries placements, first house placements, that when you start to feel less confident, when you start to feel less confident about how much you deserve to be celebrated or how much this person is really going to feel like you need to be celebrated. Good morning, Melissa. Your experience has been when your confidence starts to wane, because we can't be on 10 all the time. We're humans having a human experience. And so when anybody sees, you feel like when anybody sees like that little crack of vulnerability, of fragility, what you may have shamed yourself into calling weakness. It's human condition, not weakness. But it's just really important that you don't feel the need to be overconfident or put on a show, or that authenticity is all laid out. It's okay to hold back a little bit and make sure that they are worthy of your commitment to go all in. Because when an Aries is ready to go in, they like to go all in. So, you know, to make sure that they're who you need them to be to go all in, to asking you to strike a balance. When this thing comes in, when the wish fulfillment comes in, if it's coming in now, whatever this is to be celebrated, strike a balance. Because sometimes I'm hearing that the head that wears the crown is heavy, or however that goes. I'm sure somebody knows the verbatim quote. But you know, because Aries is attractive and they're doers and they're sexy and they're go-getters and all of this, sometimes if an Aries is used to selling themselves on all of those points, which they know are attractive to companies, to people, to whatever, there's also a lot of pressure to keep that up and the follow through. So balance, baby, for my Aries loves. And if it resonates, take it. But yeah, don't feel like you have to. And wait, there's more. Sell yourself to people when you first meet them, to jobs when you first, like, obviously an interview is an interview. Heavy is the head who wears the crown. Okay. Be okay with doing the least sometimes, and that, because Aries is one of those people that does the most, right? You're doing the most right now. Be okay sometimes with doing the least and still knowing that that's acceptable. It's still, you're not up for rejection. Connie Joe and I are talking about doing a whole series about going into why armchair astrology is so wrong. And one of the things I want to talk about with Aries, for entertainment purposes, I have always said, I think that all Aries placements have just a modicum of a little attention. It's attention deficit, but an overabundance actually of attention or distraction. And there's correlation with how that sits, and your prefrontal cortex going on fight or flight and not being like available to you when you have attention deficit or any kind of hypermobility, stress, high achievement, expectation on yourself, and prolonged trauma, and abandonment and rejection, and how rejection is really a big part of attention deficit disorders or any kind of neurodivergence. And I think rejection is a big thing for Aries. And so there's balance to finding yourself acceptable and not letting somebody else have the power to fully reject you or not. It obviously doesn't mean if somebody says no, we don't respect that. But I'm saying that that just means you're not for them. It doesn't mean that you're not okay as a person. There's a difference there. You know, a lot of times we'll see somebody in a situationship or trying to make their move on somebody, and we hear often from our friends, like, what's wrong with me? Why aren't I good enough to go out? Why don't they want to go out? You're just not for them, and that's okay. You're for somebody else. But the most important thing is, are you for yourself? Do you like being alone with yourself? Oof, so much I can say. We'll have to do a deep dive in that respect. Okay, let's move on to Leos. How are my Leos? You know, it's about to be an interesting summer for fire signs, astrologically. I'm glad the baby likes the live too. Gonna use my Mystical Moments Tarot for Leo. Yes, Leo, any Leo placements or 5th house placements. And also, like, if it just feels like you were here, you know, your guides are bored. You're kind of their only job. So, you know, they'll get you to the messages you're supposed to hear. So let's say you have things to do today and you are a Gemini with a Capricorn moon and your Pisces rising. But you only have time to hear the fire signs because you got to go after I'm done with fire signs. You may hear something still. Your guides will take you to the messages that you need to hear. So, and if I have a reading, hi Maya, if I have a reading, good morning, Mystic Harmony, and it applies to your sign, but it doesn't feel like it applies to you, as, what is her name? Intimate Tarot Goddess? Intimate Goddess Tarot? I love her. She's hilarious. She always says, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. All right, Leo, you have someone coming in hot here. Oh, which one? All right, I'm putting them both back. Whichever one's supposed to come out will come out. You have somebody coming in hot, Leo, 5th house placements. Good morning, Amber. That is interesting. That is very interesting. That is very interesting. Okay. The 2 cards that you got, Leo, was the King of Wands, very Leo energy, but this king is on fire. This king is on fire. All right, so he has beat his own drum. He has beat his own drum so much, it is on fire. And then we have the King of Pentacles. This deck, very interestingly, has the Emperor and all of the kings in both masculine and feminine form, presenting artistically. So this is King of Pentacles in the feminine presenting. It's just beautiful, right? Very relaxed. There is a kind of humble expression on her face. She's surrounded by happiness, but there's very clearly an inner peace. Now, what's interesting is the female king. So we have two kings here, which means a lot of things for me. Yep, same Maricela. So this king is the female presenting king, and she is indeed in reverse. King of Pentacles in reverse. To me, that is a very clear thing. I know everybody probably doesn't think the same thing, but when I have the King of Pentacles in reverse, I often feel like this is somebody within the Cancer, or let's just think of like the archetypes of the Cancer Capricorn axis, right? So Capricorn, I always call creme brulee because they tend to look really hard and sturdy on the outside. I don't know a Capricorn that isn't a mush on the inside. So when I have the female presenting King of Pentacles upside down, I know that I am dealing with somebody that most of their life has been mush and has felt like it has gotten them in trouble. It has made them too vulnerable. So now we have somebody who is trying, like they are putting up boundaries, but they're in that adjustment period of boundaries. So they might be a little bit in warrior phase. This might, this presents to me like you have somebody who is trying to sell themselves very passionately, Leo. I mean, this is somebody who will not quit. This is somebody who's trying to either convince you of something. They are a little braggadocious, a little, there's some resistance. I don't actually think that they're a bad person. I think that they actually have a little insecurity that makes them speak their own attributes a little louder, hence beating their own drum so they set it on fire. They are probably fairly good at pursuing you or just not giving up. Whether this is a person in your life who's trying to repair a friendship, whether this is a person who you said no to quite a few times, you don't want to hurt their feelings. I feel like there's suspicion of this person because this is kind of player energy. I like a King of Wands. The other thing here is instead of you being this in your warrior energy and trying to like blocking you, this could be somebody struggling a little bit. I don't know if they're struggling with their sexuality so much as that you may not have, you know, we live in a much more enlightened world. And so this is somebody who they may fall in love with souls and not have a preference as to gender. They're more concerned with the content of somebody's character and that connection, that feeling, that vibe. All I keep picking up is you think this person is either full of themselves, full of shit, player energy, or you're like, I can't figure you out and that does not make me feel safe. This person wants to feel safe and doesn't. I can't wait to clarify this now. Like, I want to know from the card we pull next, Leo, can you trust this person? And in a friendship, this could present like somebody that's presenting as a friend. You may have gotten burned by a friend just recently. So it may present like, I feel like you had very different beliefs a month ago. So now I don't trust what you're saying. Like, you're there switching sides. This is somebody who's like pivoting is the word I want to use. Okay. Let's get, can we trust this King of Wands? Can we trust the King of Wands? I don't feel like they're a bad person. I don't. Alrighty then. Another King of Pentacles. This, I use my Steampunk Tarot. Another King of Pentacles. This one is masculine. In the upright, this person you can trust. They are actually very stable. This comes off very unstable, but they are stable. Hey, alien. Yes, you can trust them, and it's more about examining yourself and remembering that you're a smarter, wiser person also than you were the last time somebody burnt you. I don't care if it was 2 months ago. You're still a smarter, wiser person who's probably done a little healing, especially if you're in this community. And so you don't, you're more worried about not whether you can trust yourself to allow this person in, because if another person screws you over anytime soon, you're not going to be mad at them. You're going to be mad at yourself for letting it in. I like this. I think this person actually has stability. They're just overly enthusiastic about you, and it's making you feel sus. Okay. Let's move on to Sagittarius. How are my Sages out there? Sagittarius, 9th house placements. If you're here and you're not a Sag, you're probably supposed to be listening anyway. I feel bad because she's so attached to me, because like I literally nursed her. I had to steam her. I made homemade oregano oil. I made homemade cat food. I had to syringe feed her for a while. So now she's so attached. She's like laying on the hardwood floor, like to be near me. I'm gonna have to like set up something super cushy for her over there. That's too high for her. I appreciate everybody here. That was early. Okay, Sagittarius. Oof. What a pull in two different directions. Hi, Erica. Hi, do you want to come up? Sadie, do you want to come up? Hi, honey. Okay. I know you want me to go back in the other room, but I can't right now. Do you want to come up? I know you put your, I wish you guys could see her. She's just like putting her little paw up. Come here, honey. Okay. Sagittarius, sorry for the interruption. Okay. Is there any more of that one? Okay, we're gonna cut this open. Yes, I know. Okay. So what we have here, can you put your little paws on the desk this way? Thank you. I need just one free hand. Thank you. Okay. I'm hoping you all will be able to see improvements in her overall condition. I thought it was just dirt, but she was in such disrepair when we got her that her fur evidently is going to take a while. It's also psychological trauma. She had stopped cleaning herself out of a sense of lack of self-worth. So to say that she found the right mama is probably an understatement. Yeah, she doesn't love the cat chat. I'm gonna have to do a little adjusting to that. Okay, so we have the 8 of Wands for you. It's in reverse. There may be a lack of communication, or just I'm feeling not the communication you want. You don't feel like you are getting the deeper conversation, or that like somebody's just not telling you something. Something's leaving something out. But here's what's interesting. The reason why I said this is going in two different directions is we have the 3 of Swords, but it's in reverse. So you are healing from something. Right now, Sagittarius, I'm overwhelmingly feeling that hearing from this person is not in your highest good. You are going to be feeling more empowered and less like what they have to say has any weight or permission to let you feel good about yourself. Somebody is just holding back contact, or just like you used to have deep conversation and now they're keeping it real light, keeping it real simple, keeping it moving. And you're like, well, what the hell? That is not how our conversations used to go. Let's see if I can get her over here. Let's pull a card to clarify. I want to know from that reading, is that going to clear up anytime soon? What deck do I want to clarify? All right, we're going to take a Light Seers. Okay, so we have the Hierophant in reverse. Right now, things may not be aligned for you to speak to that person. The Hierophant can be kind of bossy. It can be patriarchal control done through spiritual beliefs, or somebody who has power. The Hierophant with the 4 of Wands can mean marriage. The Hierophant has a very expanded meaning. This is why we use different, this is why we let Spirit lead us to what deck we're using, because different decks have different artwork. This is a very Zen. This would be more of like, an enlightened spiritual Hierophant rather than a hard-lined, these are the rules or else you're going to hell Hierophant. Make sense? It came out in reverse. There is a little bit of a lack of spiritual alignment. Not that you are not spiritually aligned or favored or blessed or any of that. It's more about that, like, they are doing you a favor. You want that Three of Swords in reverse. You are healing. When this person speaks to you, it's going to feel like it's comfort and it's going to be what you need. And you have to remember, please, everyone, for every sign right now, this is a collective message at 45 minutes. You know, if I'm sitting here saying, like, it's not in your highest good to have the conversation with this person because you need to, you know, you're not spiritually aligned for this conversation right now, it might not be because there's something wrong with you, there's something lacking with you, there's some kind of gifts or understanding or universal knowing that's wrong with you at the moment. It could just be that this person, if they spoke to you, they would speak out the side of their mouth. If they spoke to you, they would speak out of pocket. They would be out of pocket. They would act out of pocket. So I think that we have to remember that sometimes when we're not having the conversation, and I'm saying it's not spiritually aligned for you to have that conversation, it's in your best interest that conversation is being held back, it's because they're not in their right mind and they might inflict a sense of rejection or you know, hurt on you that you don't deserve. And so sometimes that communication gap isn't about you. That is about your guides literally protecting you from a conversation that would F you up 6 ways till next Tuesday, and you'll internalize and it will distract you from other things and other energy because they're not in a good place, not because you're not awesome. Ta-da! Okay. I love that for Sag. Okay. Let's take, we are on Earth signs now. Yes. And we're doing Taurus, right? Yeah. Oh, that's weird. Why does that one card stick up? Okay. You're okay, honey. I'm going to have to get her like a little table with a little... Okay, y'all, give me a second. Let me just set her up with a pillow or something so that she's not... Hi, honey. Okay. Hi, Neela. Taurus, Taurus, Taurus. I hope you are feeling amazing. If you're feeling exhausted, that's probably appropriate. When we have a ton of stuff, Taurus likes to move slowly. They like to be stable. In romance, they might risk a little when it comes to like, they might like a little spice. But they want to be calculated to make sure that there's stability. If you know Taurus, you might know somebody who has a little anxiety about what if we run out of something, or Taurus tend to be a little bit more on the frugal side because they want to make sure they're not wasting anything. And that doesn't just come from consideration. That comes from, you know, wanting to make sure that everything is stable. Supplies are stable, food stable, money stable, home is stable. Okay, she's using the pillow. And so when we have a ton of planets in Taurus, holy cow. Yeah, that is normally a time where everything slows down, and it can bring, even though it's not Gemini and it's not Libra, it can bring a little bit of indecision, or even knowing the right decision and still just deciding to hold off, to wait, in fear that it won't be the most stable decision, so you do nothing. But Taurus, this new moon is bringing lighter energy, and then we're moving into Gemini season, and everybody will feel a little bit of a pickup. While we're on Taurus in second house placements. Normally I can jump over to my other screen, but I had to update everything, so I can't. Once everything starts popping into Gemini, I think we already have Venus is in Cancer, I think. So once we have everything else kind of more evenly distributed, we'll all feel a little bit more energy. We'll all feel like we can finally make moves. What you doing? That's all I can hear. Where you at? You got plans? Don't say that. I look too good to be alone. Why am I hearing that? Who is that for? Oh, you got plans. Don't say that. It might be about somebody who's like been trying to get you to go someplace with them. Oof, I like that, Taurus. Okay, that makes perfect sense for me for Taurus. Listen, Taurus, you have been in it for a minute. The nodal axis, the eclipses, every planet, you know, except for Neptune and Pluto, feels like it's in Taurus, because we have Jupiter in Taurus. And Uranus in Taurus. Besides, you know, we had the sun, the moon, Venus moved out finally, but, you know, for a minute there, it was like everything. So, and as one thing leaves, another thing comes in, including 2 slower moving planets, and a retrograde. Sometimes life will slow us down so we can be very Taurian. We can really calculate and make sure that there's going to be stability in the next move. It feels important. It also makes us want to say, I'm procrastinating today. I'm lazy. I just need a day off, but I can't have a day off because my brain is saying, what are you doing? Get up. Press that button. All you have to do is like walk over there, press that button, do that thing, and then it's done. Why are you... There seems to almost be a hesitation, right? Again, that energy is going to be moving, but not Uranus, unfortunately. Sorry. But Jupiter is going to be in your sign for like a year because it's going to retrograde back and forth. And we like that. We didn't love it squaring Pluto earlier in the week, but we have the Ten of Swords came out first. There is an ending of something you've been carrying, something painful. And I mean painful. This could be tied to very nuanced trauma that you thought maybe everybody dealt with when they were younger that really affected you more than you thought it did. And we have Eight of Cups. Instantly the energy is giving me like a migraine. This doesn't feel easy. And for a Taurus to get an Eight of Cups, Taurus placements, second house placements, that Eight of Cups, for a Taurus to walk away from something, Taurus does not like change. Whatever hurt you, to move you, to make you uncomfortable enough, to make you realize, I don't want to do this anymore, I don't want to feel like this anymore, to make you walk away from this, I commend you, because I know that is not easy for Taurus placements. You'd rather stay and fix it and keep it stable. And even you'd rather sometimes stay and not fully participate in it, but certainly for the love of Zeus and great Odin's beard, do not want to deal with the headache. That's, I feel like I instantly have like a migraine thinking about what has to come next, because I have finally made the decision to change something. Let's get a clarification. I'm really proud of you, because it would be worse if I got both of these cards in reverse. It would mean that you are in pain and not letting it end and letting yourself continue to be tortured, and that you're not walking away from something that you're supposed to be walking away from. You know, and we all experience that. I had a reading, I want to say like a week ago, where we looked into somebody's chart and we realized like there's somebody that's not always kind to them in a relationship, and everything in their chart pointed out to like that time that they did that last awful thing that was supposed to be it. But sometimes change is hard, and sometimes we are just so convinced we can love people out of their behaviors, and we can create an environment for them to heal themselves, but we cannot love somebody out of their toxic behaviors. We can't. And Taurus has a tendency to do that. So I'm super proud of you for that. Let's clarify it though. Use the Fountain Tarot to clarify for Taurus. I'm so happy she's sleeping on the... I went and got a pillow and just put it on the floor next to me, and she just curled up and went to sleep. I'll have to take nice pictures of her and put it on Instagram, but... And yes, we're making sure we give Nikki lots and lots and lots of love. Because that big baby, just a baby, absolutely gets a little jealous. Okay. What's interesting is two popped out to clarify. We have the Page of Coins, the beginning of a new stability, and there's the Queen of Cups. Taurus, somebody in your life that you've kept around has not loved you the way that love should work. I don't even want to say like love you how you deserve, love you like you're supposed to be loved, how love is supposed to work. There is something because you stayed so long that you acclimated to that's very dysfunctional, not just for you, but maybe even for the people around you, meaning kids, other environmental people. And there is somebody, if you risk this new stability, we also see joy. That is going to actually like love you the way that love works. I'm also picking up that somewhere along the way you thought you got a trophy for, you know, if somebody is together for 30 years, that's commendable, right? When somebody is like, oh, we're married 30 years or 40 years, that's huge, especially now. I would argue it's not because people are more disposable because of social media. And I will say that 10 years ago, I might have said that. But as we grow and learn, first of all, sorry, but, 30 years ago, women couldn't have credit. When I was in high school, women couldn't write checks. They had their husbands' names on their checks. If they got credit card, they had to put their husbands. When I was in high school. Now, granted, I'm over 50, but that's still not that was the 80s. So some people stayed together because there wasn't another option and it just was unthinkable, right? And so I commend people that are genuinely, sometimes people just find their soulmate early and it's beautiful, right? But somewhere along the line, for my, especially second house placements, it feels like it got hammered into you that not having that longevity was losing, was being a bad example for kids, was being a bad member of society, was being not a productive adult, was not, so I think that letting go of this pain also means letting go of the mindset that like somehow you failed by not being able to fix something. Yeah. In the 80s. I mean, I graduated in 88, so we're talking close to the 90s. I want to say I was in 10th and 11th grade, but 11th grade. Because I remember when somebody had a check, we had this giant book, and we had to make sure their name wasn't in the giant book of bad checks. Because there was no electronic way to catch any. And if somebody wanted to apply for a credit card, it was like the big trifold. They had to sit, take a pen, and go away for 15 minutes to fill out all the information. And then there were just like things that would pass and not pass. There was no way to electronically approve anything. I mean, I worked on registers with the buttons and the drawer came out and went ding and I had to count the change. But yeah, hey Gibbs. Yes, it wasn't that long ago. So it's not, I don't think it's that people give up. I think that people don't have to stay in abusive, terrible relationships. And I think when we're younger, we don't know ourselves as well. And sometimes we don't pick the right person the first time because there's a lesson. And that's okay. That is perfectly okay. There's no winning or losing. There's only inner peace and happiness and being in a healthy situation. Hi, TS. Okay. I wish I had a separate camera so I could show you guys. I'm still so in love with my Lazy Susan. And speaking about Lazy Susans, I know I haven't done any videos. I didn't reschedule the class. I like to normalize real human processing. So without saying too much, and because I'm not here for you guys to all comfort me, I haven't been okay. Stuff has been happening and I haven't been okay, and shut down, I haven't been not this okay in almost 10 years. Maybe dark night of the soul. And I remember when a very wonderful, gifted astrologer and psychic by the name of Connie Jo said to me about 6 weeks ago, honey, I think you're going through a dark night of the soul. And I thought, I've been through those. That's definitely not what this is. 2 weeks later, me like, I don't know what's wrong with me. Yeah. So, and I'm not saying that because I don't want, I'm not saying that for sympathy. I'm saying that because I think we have to normalize that we can be grown-ass, evolved, enlightened, intelligent adults who adult and are good parents and are perfectly capable of functioning at their job and still not be okay at times. There are going to be times in our lives that we're not okay. And I think that the stigma, I think it all goes back to like mental health, right? And all the stigmas and the unhealthy way that we address mental health and emotional health, certainly in this country, but I think globally too. Because it's so, what happens if you say you're not okay? Then will people weaponize it against you at your job, in your family? How are you disappointing people? Why are you feeling so fragile? It doesn't feel safe to feel that fragile, right? And so I think we have to normalize that it's okay, and we're not always doing it for sympathy or attention, right? I think we just have to say so that other people that are like, I haven't felt okay in a year, or that's how I feel all the time because of my sustained long-term trauma when I was a child, or, last week or 2 months ago, I had a fight to get out of bed. I'm not saying me, I'm saying that's what I felt like the last 2 weeks. It affected my physical health. But I think that that's probably more of a usual thing for people to go through, especially if you're brave and courageous enough to not only like heal and process shit, but like to be courageous enough to not always be filling the space, to let somebody else fill the space, to put up boundaries, to stop using all of the trauma manifested behaviors that make us feel safe because we extend too much, or we do what we think we need to do to be acceptable and lovable. And that usually creates the wrong environment around us. What happens if you fell into a family? I'm just going on a whole thing here. We're about to do Virgo. Makes sense. What happens if you fall into a family where that bad environment is your family? Some people have insanely supportive families no matter what. Some people have supportive families and it's conditional. So you could be the bravest person in a real physical situation, but sometimes the internal courage to not be likable or even lovable for the sake of your own mental health and emotional health and processing that is huge. And certainly that last eclipse season took us all to church in that respect. So with that, thank you for coming to my TED Talk about normalizing not being okay. And we are on Virgo. No coincidences. Two cards in reverse. Now, we're seeing a lot of cards in reverse today. We have this gorgeous, gorgeous Silence of the Lambs death card in reverse. Virgo, something's coming back. Something is supposed to be resurrected. Or, you know, Virgos are triers. They're fixers, healers, heroes. So it's not that unusual for something to come back to Virgo. But if Virgo is standing, hello, Stacy. If Virgo is standing on principle, it's a lot harder for them to circle back and let something back in. We also have a Knight of Pentacles. It also came out in reverse. Again, very interesting. Because the Knight of Pentacles is so slow, right? I often tease and see, say it's the geriatric horse. Now, in this one, it's not. We actually have some motion going in this. Normally, we see the Knight of Pentacles horse standing still. This one's in motion. And it's very fortuitous. It's very, I mean, it's rich with growth. There's so much lushness in this card. It's lush. When I see a Knight of Pentacles in reverse, normally I think one of two things. The slow has stopped. Thank you. I didn't say that to like, I have good support in place, but when I feel like I go inwards, I get quiet. But I do appreciate, let me acknowledge the love. But also I wanted to say that out loud, not for the sympathy or attention, but to just normalize it. The other time that we see the Knight of Pentacles in reverse is when something has been so slow and now it's going to come out of slow mode. So with the Death card in reverse, that feels like confirmation just within this reading with these two cards. Something's coming back. I think it's something that you thought was dead in the water, Virgo. And this is also great for 6th house placements. I gotta tell you though, I have a feeling at least for half of you, I don't know that you want it back. Let's clarify. I am using the Mystic Dream Tarot to clarify. Is this something you want back? Or is this something that you've been over? I think a year ago, it would have been, oh my God, I've been waiting for that. Oh my God, yes. It's about time. I think I think you've been through so much this year. I don't know that you want it back. Six of Swords. You would rather move on than have this thing back, but there is a certain amount of satisfaction. It probably, even though you knew that it shouldn't, it crawled under your skin, Virgo. That's a yes. That was for somebody that was just boop right on the nose. You're going to move on from whatever this was that wants to come back. But there's a part of you that's like, yeah, I would think so. I would think so that you want to come apologize. I would think so that you would be like, gee, I messed up. Or like, I took too long. I didn't put enough value. I don't even think this person did anything horrendous. I don't think that you felt valued in any way. And I feel like it really stung before, but now, because they were so slow and because they were not making moves, it afforded you the opportunity to really rethink life without this situation. And surprisingly, until it was offered again, I don't think you realized that, like, oh no, I'm okay without that, because there was more toxic to it than there was good or healthy. Not that the person's not good, but sometimes the most dangerous thing that somebody can do is leave us alone for so long that we become more peaceful in their absence than we ever were in their presence. That is what I am feeling, Virgo. Okay. We have Capricorn. Then we're on to air signs. Right? Like the people who we thought we could never live without, or we didn't want to live without. Okay. Lots of kings today. Lots of kings and lots of reversed cards. First card out for Capricorn is the King of Swords. And I am using my... oh gosh, look what's on the bottom of the deck. Yes, Capricorn or 10th house placements. It's the Lovers. My nails are jacked. So we have the King of Swords coming out first, which is an air sign. Somebody who sometimes thinks their feelings or like expresses their feelings through thoughts and words. Usually very intelligent. Usually doesn't speak unless there's something that would astound the whole room. They're not going to speak just to hear themselves speak. Capricorn, I don't know how to read this other than winner, winner, chicken dinner here for this reading. We have a King of Cups, King of Swords, who I quite like a King of Swords, and gorgeous, gorgeous Ace of Cups. For some of you, this is... For some of you, this is the quiet friend, the quiet family member who's not really overly mushy, maybe a little bit more pragmatic. I feel like for half of you Capricorns, this is going to heal an old relationship, either in family or friends. But for the other half, I gotta tell you, this is the person that you don't expect that is going to... Here's the thing. When a King of Swords offers you an Ace of Cups, they are not speaking to hear themselves speak. They're not blowing smoke. They are not just seeing if you're going to stroke their ego back by responding and then not following through. Now, is a King of Swords frustrating at times because they're not sometimes as over communicative? Sure. But do they mean what they say and say what they mean? Yeah. This is an offer of love from somebody who's not going to offer that unless they actually mean it. Let's clarify. I'm going to clarify with the Herb Crafters Tarot. Some of you, this is going to be a new person. Some of you, this is somebody that's been around that you're going to be like, no, not them. Strength card, garlic, but the Strength card, Leo energy, this is a strong connection. I believe it's a surprising connection, Capricorn, and I think it's going to make you rethink a lot of things. I can confirm, as the 10th house sun, I need quality to put my energy into it in any kind of relationship. Maybe not when I was younger, but at this point in my life, I need quality to fully invest myself. Especially because I actually prioritize myself as being important on my own schedule. For the first time in my life, probably, because most of us struggle to get that to that place, right? This is quality. This is a strong connection. And Capricorn energy and 10th house energy is not taking crumbs, is not... Like, they'll get flattered, they'll flirt, joke around, engage a little bit. But, like, Capricorn and 10th house energy is the kind of energy that, like, you, like, joke back and forth, and then they just, like, they're not mad or anything. They're just, if it's not insanely... If they're not invested in a quality, like if they just see it as little entertainment, they won't read those DMs. And they will not be mad at you. They just will be like, do I have time to sit there and look at the memes and the things and the light conversation? I may not. Right? Because quality. This is a quality connection. Capricorn. This is worth your time, which is very, very precious. Capricorn has father time with its boot on its neck. Capricorn feels that boot all the time. Wasting time It's not something Capricorn 10th house energy wants to do. So I feel like it's important to say that this is a quality connection. It's a strong quality connection, and I love that for you. Okay, we're going to move on to air signs. And we have our Stranger Things. That's sweet. I've been having a problem with my eyes the last 2 days. It was really bad last night, and I thought when it's dark out and all the lights are on, it just seems so glaring. So I figured if I did it during the day, I also was trying to. So I know I seem really tired. I'm picking back up after low energy for a couple of weeks, but also my eyes are just, I know, like the dents and the everything, but I promise I'm okay. And it feels lovely to be with the energy of this community. Okay. Also, the messages today feel gentle. Like a lot of times I'm like super hype and I'm like, and another thing, and I said what I said. This feels really gentle, and I feel like we all need that after a while. Okay. So we have in place of, I don't know where you go, so you can just hang out over here. In Gemini, we have the Hangman and the Two of Pentacles in reverse. My dudes, it's going to balance again once the sun moves into Gemini. And Mercury moves into Gemini. I'm going to look at that for a second. It feels important. Before I was like, oh, I'm not gonna take the minute to look. But now I want to for all of you. So we have the sun at 29 degrees of Taurus right now. And Mercury, of course, is only at 7 degrees. And it feels like it's painfully slow, especially in Taurus, especially with a retrograde. But let's... So Gemini, things are it looks here like suspension and out of balance. You're going to feel better in a couple of days, right? Once that Gemini sun has completely, it moves into Gemini. Tomorrow, we are at that 29 degrees right now of Taurus. But on June, when you're really going to feel it is when Mercury moves into Gemini, which is happening on June 11th. going to be a big difference for people with a lot of Gemini energy. And of course, this reading is also for third house placements. We're all feeling the stalled energy, but this hangman in particular, is frustrating. The feeling out of balance with the Two of Pentacles in reverse, that part's not as frustrating, I feel like. 2 third house placements and Gemini placements, and let me explain why. Because Gemini can do 2 things at once. Gemini is out of balance, is like almost where they excel. If shit's out of balance, Gemini is not going to blink at having to navigate that. They're just not. They can do 2 things. They can walk and chew gum at the same time. It almost is, you know, a lot of times you'll see somebody with Gemini energy or Gemini Mercury, and what happens is they do better doing a task if music is also on, or they need they almost need 2 things going on at once. I just read something about accidents. Mystic Harmony, make sure you catch up. You're back in Capricorn's reading. And so when I give away, you'll be behind. Mercury retrograde just ended. Mercury retrograde. Mercury is ruled by Gemini and Virgo, so we're always looking at that third house. During Mercury retrograde is often associated with cars breaking and accidents, and locally, like when you're on like a long road trip. I'm glad you're okay, but that's not Gemini specific. That's during Mercury retrograde, and we're still in shadow. That's you. Last Friday night, I kept saying to everybody, please be careful. When we were in that eclipse and it was Mercury retrograde, like, please be careful. So, yeah, unfortunately. So, getting back to this Hangman and the Two of Pentacles in reverse. The Hangman is frustrating to Gemini. The out of balance, they can do a little better. But this time, that out of balance feels a little frustrating. More frustrating than usual. And also, it feels like where they normally can excel or do better, or that's where I can like take over what everybody else is like, oh my God. This is too much. I cannot do 2 things at once. Like you cannot give me that stuff that quickly. You can't give me 2 projects at once. Gemini's like, I got you. Normally where they would excel, there is something that is frustrating about this energy right now. And I promise you, you'll feel better tomorrow and the week to come. But especially you'll feel better June 11th when Mercury moves into Gemini and you just feel like, now I'm in my element. Now I have the Sun and Mercury in Gemini at the same time. That's bring on the chaos, bring on the whatever. This feels like you can't do anything to fix a situation. It feels like you're trapped behind glass, Gemini placements. I don't know why I'm getting this. It seems so dramatic. It feels like you're trapped behind glass, and that normally you could like just dive in and like, I got this and that. You worry about the other thing and fix something, and you're suspended from doing it with that Hangman. You feel like you can only watch and not fix, and it's making you fucking crazy right now. It's frustrating to you, and it's making everything kind of feel out of balance. Let's get it clarified on this. Okay. One of the things about Geminis is that they often didn't feel safe being just all the different things that they are when they're younger. So while some people perceive it as two-faced, as a survival technique, they learn to present the most pleasing part of them for acceptance and love, depending on who they were in front of. So it's a survival thing. Where they can excel and they feel really useful is that multitasking, is that they have a million great ideas. With the funny, they're entertaining, they're hilarious, they can do a million things at once. Sometimes they can be a lot of energy, but really brilliant. And so when you have ideas, when you have solutions, when you're like, I can do that and do the other thing too, it's fine. Let's just get it done and get it out. Like, and you can't, you're also not being able to utilize what you feel is most valuable about yourself and what other people feel most valuable about you. And so we have this Nine of Pentacles in reverse. The biggest thing that's frustrating is that you can't be the best you right now. I promise, my lovely Geminis, it's going to get better. Starting tomorrow. You will get solution after June 11th for whatever this is, but you're still lovable when you can't be useful. That's for everyone. But you're still lovable and acceptable when you can't be useful. Just like I said to Aries, sometimes we have to be able to do the least and still feel like we're the most lovable when we're doing the least and we're not hitting that sweet spot of what we're really good at naturally. And you're really naturally good at like problem solving and multitasking. But this is like, it's watching it happen with your hands tied behind your back. And on top of that, if that wasn't frustrating, you're also feeling like, are people questioning your worth? Because you would really like to get in there and straighten shit out, but you're not allowed for some reason. I don't know why you're not allowed, or why you feel held back, but I definitely feel it. All right, let's move into Libras. How are my Libras? All right, we are farmers. Bum, 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 bum. I don't know what's wrong with me. That is the hamster in my wheel. Okay. Hi, Chris. Libras. I like it. I like it, Picasso. Eight of Pentacles in reverse. So listen, I don't mind the Eight of Pentacles ever, but when it's in reverse, I see something that feels like less work, something that flows, that's easier. Can you be a Libra in some charts and a Gemini another with the same? A Libra and a Gemini? No, those aren't even remotely. I mean, unless for some reason somebody's doing like Vedic astrology or like I am a Western tropical astrologer that uses Placidus and believes in evolutionary astrology. If you're using Vedic or I mean, that is the most, honestly, because even in Vedic, you might be a different sign, but you might not be. But to be that far apart, usually you're 1 or 2 signs different in Vedic, if you're even different. Sometimes you're not. There's no calculations to just switch over from one to the other. I'm not a Vedic astrologer, but what I know of it, because I checked it out to make sure that wasn't the astrology for me, or which I found most effective. So yeah, that's closer to it, Juan. It would be unlikely for somebody to be that far apart in their sun sign from Western tropical to Vedic. Okay. I'm loving this for you. You have a beautiful, beautiful 4 of Wands. And I love this 4 of Wands. Look at the trees. Love, love, love. We have the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. And again, I don't mind the 8 of Pentacles. When I see it in reverse, I think this is something probably easier. Something probably that feels like less work. And we have a divine 11-11 connection here with something that feels like less work. Right, Jackie, but aren't you a Scorpio in Western tropical? It would be like 1 sign apart. See what I'm saying? Let's get a clarification. Libra. This Libra and 7th house placements, this feels like an easy connection. This feels like a divine connection. Is it necessarily romantic? No, but most likely more percentage that it is than it isn't. But sure, it could just be like you meet somebody and you're like, this is my soulmate that came in form of a best friend. Feels like sister energy, best, family energy, whatever. I also have to say, I'm getting this in big for Libra. Woof. There's my physical confirmation. For some of you, this isn't going to be with the partner you're with now. This is going to be like, I don't know that it will be acted on, but somebody's going to show up that's going to be so easy. It might shine a light on what needs to get repaired in your current situation. Yeah, Scorpio, right. Okay. I'm not. Okay, so there's a current situation, whether it's a friendship, family, work, or love, that is not in balance. It is not reciprocal. You are not getting back what you give. And then something else is going to come along. Could it be the same person you're in a relationship with, and this is a total flip, that they're going to heal something, and then they're going to not have expectations or attachments to what you're, and that, sure. But I feel for you, a lot of you Libras in 7th house placements, this divine, effortless connection is just going to, for some of you, it's going to shine the light on what you didn't realize you acclimated to and is toxic. Going to be honest. For others of you, and you're really going to feel this when Venus moves into Gemini. For others of you, this is going to shine a light on what used to be but is now missing in your current relationship, if it's not the relationship you're already in. I feel like for a lot of you, this is just going to come along and you're just going to vibe and gel with somebody so effortlessly, it will almost possibly feel threatening to what else you have going on. Okay. Okie dokie. Let's see. We have Aquarius, and then we are doing water signs. Aquarius. Let's take these for fun. What is everybody doing for the rest of your weekend? Ooh. Shauna, if you're watching Gemini, I'm about to do Aquarius. Make sure you catch up for the giveaway. Yes, Aquarius are 11th house placements. Gorgeous 9 of Pentacles in reverse, Aquarius. And the Hierophant. Now this Hierophant, again, feels spiritual. There is, oh man, Aquarius. Do you see how she's almost, 9 of Pentacles is, she's almost blindfolded. Like she doesn't need to see at this point. 9 of Pentacles, I love. That is, for me, the Queen of Pentacles is the mini Empress card, and the 9 of Pentacles is the mini Queen of Pentacles. There is sustainability and understanding that you are the abundance, that everything can burn down, you can build it back up with that 9. It's also reaping the fruit of your, it's reaping the fruit of your labors, reaping the rewards of your efforts. I don't know why I'm hearing the song like, wanna catch a flight, apple bottoms wanna bite, I just wanna have a good night. I don't know why I'm hearing that. Hi Dora. I don't know why I'm hearing that, but like there is a break for you right now in stability and everything. It's gonna allow you to also, it's funny, it's like this Hierophant in reverse, right? I think you had to break rules to get here. And this isn't, it's in play, right? Even if it's in reverse. Aquarius, you are the first person to march to your own drummer, color outside the lines, think outside the box, right? This 9 of Pentacles, this sustainability, this reaping your rewards, this feeling really stable and abundant, comes when you stop watching too many people on platforms saying like, you have to do this ritual or else you're blocking your blessings. You have to do this thing or else you're, you know, you're not manifesting. You're not doing it right. And while it's great to gather information, and Aquarius is great for that, the minute you realized you weren't bound to that you could make your own way, which is exactly what Aquarius is supposed to do, that is when this came in. Let go of you know, it's even like supplements, anything these days. There are things that are working for some people, and they're like, oh my God, this changed my life. So then you start doing that. And then you see somebody else who goes, oh my God, this changed my life, but you can't put this here and you have to take this then. And you're like, well, maybe I should do that or add this to it. You know, this person says this 3 supplements help them with their insulin resistance. And this people say, no, it's this 3, and you can't exercise because it stresses you out and raises your, like, there's so much information, right? And so in anything, this could be anything, whether this is abundance and health or money or love or whatever. It's okay to be spiritual and not, because this card, there's an altar, there's ritual. There is spiritual ancient traditions, and that's a great base to learn from. But it doesn't mean what works for you works for everyone else. And this is about like being the rebel that you are. Yeah. And we're just going to take this guy. Ace of Cups. When you break the rules, you reap the rewards. The Ace of Cups. I love it for you, Aquarius. Love, love, love. Okay, we are on Cancer. I am going to take the Druid Craft Tarot for that. Our Mercedes still curled up in a little perfect ball with her tail wrapped around her face. Sleeping next to me. Yeah, listen, astrology will help you understand somebody else. And I think one of the most underutilized tools of astrology is helping us to be better partners, but better parents. Like really, we should be parenting our children different. Because they are very different individuals. Even, I don't care if they're 8 months apart. I don't care if they're, well, not 8 months apart, 9, 10 months apart, and they're Irish twins. They're still going to be different people. And so, learning to understand. I actually just, was talking to one of my high school friends who just became a grandma, and her daughter dabbles. She seems kind of knowledgeable in astrology, but was wondering, like, do you do chart readings for babies? And I was like, absolutely. I do chart readings for 2-year-olds because, you know, it's great to know when you're supposed to have your child's back and not go to like traditional constructs. It's great to know when you have to be traditional or have extra stability for somebody. Like, it's incredible. Aw, thank you, Shauna. But helping us to understand how somebody else communicates and where they're, especially about like their trauma responses, because we can see all that in a chart. So what makes one person feel safe is going to be completely different. And when somebody feels understood, and when somebody feels safe with you, your effectiveness on their life. And I want you to think about what that means when you're somebody's parent. right? Because we can't always be their manager. Sometimes we're just their consultant, and sometimes we're a bystander while they figure out their own way. And so that nonetheless does not make it frustrating or painful when we can't seem to connect or say the right thing or the right words. And we may be in all of our love and in all of our best intention trying to say the right thing to inspire somebody, help them, support them, whatever, and we're saying the wrong things. And it's not because we're bad people or bad parents or bad friends or bad partners. It's because they communicate a different way. And you know, sometimes you'll get like a gorgeous Venus moon thing that makes the love part really easy, but then maybe there's like a communication Chiron thing that makes the communication when things aren't great a little bit more challenging. But if you want to be effective in support and guidance, that doesn't always mean insisting that they do things that you know are better. It means taking the time to really understand how you make that person feel truly understood with very little words, actually. What can you do to make them understand that you speak their language? Because when we don't feel understood, we don't feel safe. Woo! Okay. Cancer. God knows I shuffled enough. 2 of Cups. 5 of Cups, but in reverse. Venus is in Cancer right now. This is getting over grieving. For someone, listen, Cancer, there may be somebody that, you know, Cancer is a ride or dies, and there can be attachment issues with Cancer. 5 of Cups is often because we will sit in the grief of what we lost. And it's really hard for us. The loyalty is real. We can be loyal to somebody we're not with. A Cancer can be loyal to somebody they're not even with. Be loyal to the ghost of someone. I'm just going to say, look at Selena Gomez. I am sure that woman could dish some 411, some deets, some, some behaviors of her very infamous ex. And while we might see him and his new wife, for some reason, fixated on talking about her or saying bad things. I think they recently called all of her fans like children. They're always trashed. You never see her doing that. And even when the ex, new wife, was passively aggressively doing whatever she was doing online, kind of low-key bullying, somebody who's been very honest about their own struggle with emotional and mental wellness and depression and health and all of that. When that backfired on her, who came to her rescue? Like, a Cancer was still loyal to the ex, to the person she's no longer with. She doesn't tell all the dirty details. The loyalty on a Cancer is real. So when we see somebody who's finally getting done grieving, hey Zoe, finally getting done grieving somebody and they are a Cancer, that is effing huge. 4th house placements, Cancer placements. It takes so much, y'all. So much. To not sit in the grief. Like, it's still a part of the love. Like, we say, the pain of somebody's death is directly correlated to how deep the relationship was. Cancer can love somebody through the death of their relationship. When they are finally grieved, done. The second you let that go, because in your heart, in your energetic self, in that cord, you're still connected to that person. So no one else is coming in, but now somebody is, because you have finally fully, properly grieved this person. Let's clarify. Oof. Oh no, not the flu. Slow roast garlic. Spoonful of raw honey with elderberry syrup on it. And slow roast garlic. It's like natural antibiotic that hits your body, and it tastes so good. You can put it on toast with pesto. It's like medicine. And I hope you feel better. Okay, so we have the Ace of Swords in reverse here. The last step, Cancer, is you have to stop looking for them online. Even if you're like, I don't want them back, and I won't be jealous if I see there was somebody else, but I just need to know they're okay. I want them to be okay, right? Like even Selena said, like, I always want him to win. I don't have to be with him. I never want him to be hurt. I always want him to be doing well, right? That's so Cancerian. But you have to not be checking to see if they're okay. It's the last step. Disconnect, do a cord cutting ceremony, ask your guides to cut any cords that no longer serve you to anyone, and call back all of your power, because then that comes in, Cancer. Then that comes in. All right, give me 2 seconds. Somebody stole the extra charger that I normally have in this room. You know, I have children. So I'm going to be right back because I need to go get... Hi, sweetie. You don't have to wake up. I know. I just have to go get my cords so that my camera doesn't die. Hi, honey. Hold on. I know. You didn't have to get up. We're going back to the same place. Okay. There we go. Nope, honey, we're back here. I know you can come up if you want, but we're not done. We're not done. We have 2 more signs and a free reading. Do you want to come up? Yeah? Do you want to come up? You can do it. I help you? Oof. Okay. All right, so we are on Scorpio and we are all plugged in. So we shouldn't be going anywhere. You want to do Scorpio with me, Sadie? Okay. I make her today have to make food again, and I make her homemade food so she gets the extra nutrition, and she gets salmon and chicken livers. And I put the fish oil and the omega and calcium. Okay. We won't know. They can't even, she was in such bad condition. The doctor had to give me an age range between like 6 and 8 years old. But that was when she had to go to the emergency room. The day after I got her, the first day she went to the vet, they had to give me between 5 and 15 years. Because she was in such bad, like the pads of her foot from just like walking all the time. And she's just like a little sweet baby. She's not a fighter, so I don't even know how, because like we have animals out at night here. I'm hoping that she was hanging out in my lanai at some point, but I'm pretty sure if I had saw her earlier, she would have just been part of our family earlier. Okay. Okay. We're going to do Scorpio together. What card should we use? Let's use the Night Goddess. Want to use these? Yeah? Okay. You need to smell them. You want to put your magic on them? Okay, we're going to rub into them. Okay. Yeah, she's got these beautiful green eyes, and they have these gold flecks in them, but we can't. That's the other thing. Like, so sometimes she looks like a little kitten. Sometimes she looks like a 2,000-year-old, ancient soul. But the other day she was actually like trying to clean her tail. And clean herself, and so that's like a really great sign of and she stopped going in like corners, and she wanted to like live in her especially after the trauma of the emergency room. She reverted back to the cat carrier. I have a soft one, and so like I put a bunch of comfortable things in there for her. But now she's on the bed again, and that's also a really healthy sign. Hello, Annika. All right. Okay, give me 1 second, honey. Okay, my Gemini Mercury is gonna double task, so she's having another snack. She's like a newborn baby, and she eats like once an hour. Very little, that's all she can eat. We're waiting for her stomach to get bigger. She's used to starving, sadly. Okay, so what's interesting is you got 3 cards, Scorpio. 10 of Wands. There is a burden that is no longer yours to carry. I feel guilt. I feel like there's a shame or a guilt, a survivor's guilt maybe. Hi, Odelia. That it may be that it's time to put it down. I don't know why you haven't put it down yet. Let's just say that if you haven't put it down yet, you will by July when the nodal axis switches over. And of course, this new Taurus moon is helpful. Okay, slow down, Augustus. What you also have is the Wheel of Fortune. And we have the 3 of Cups in reverse. So because there is a change, and because there is putting something down that you haven't yet, there is something that there is a triangulation that needs to go away, but also something, and I feel like this has been a theme of your reading, Scorpio, something that you thought was the answer, or someone that you thought was the answer, someone that you thought would be less painful, more reliable, and less betrayal. turned out not to be. And it's been really hard for you because, again, just like, who was the sign that I said if it doesn't work out again, you won't be mad at them, you'll be mad at you? I think I want to say that was like Leo. So you're blaming yourself as part of that 10 of Wands. When I see 10 of Wands, I know there's a burden that needs to be put down. Something you're carrying that's not yours to carry anymore. And so it makes sense to me that there's guilt or shame around you picked the wrong person again. Or not only did you pick the wrong person, if a Scorpio picks you, they're merging with you. They are, you know, your souls should be wrapped around each other. And so they're another sign that kind of goes all in. You ate the whole thing, honey. That goes all in. And then if that, I wanted to say when, but it's not always when. If betrayal comes after you have, you know, Scorpios are kind of picky. They might flirt a lot. They might consider a lot of people, but they're actually not very trustful of other people. So when they truly let somebody in completely, when they're willing to be vulnerable, they need loyalty. So if they are betrayed in any way, it doesn't even matter if it's not like a full-on cheating thing. If you just feel betrayed, if you feel like you let somebody into that most vulnerable part of you, that iceberg that you keep underwater, and somebody somehow disrespects or betrays that, you know, it's hard to get over. But you also think, what's wrong with me? I'll never have a healthy partner. I'll never pick someone that's healthy for me. That's a me problem. There is a whole change coming here. It really is time. And I believe that this is happening for you. You know, we also saw Taurus, which is your sister sign, walking away. And we have a bunch of stuff in Taurus right now that's opposing your Scorpio placements. So we're going to just know, Scorpios, that by July, anything you weren't sure about, because for some of you, you intuitively, and you're not wrong, psychically feel that betrayal, but you don't have like absolute proof, or if you did, they somehow talked you out of it. Because you're invested, because your souls are intertwined. And so, okay, that has to be it, baby, because I don't have any more in this room and I cannot walk away again. There's that last little bit. Okay. Okay. We're all done. Scorpio, you are going to be able to release this. You are going to be able to trust yourself again. This person made you not trust yourself, and that's the meanest thing. That's the worst thing. You can trust yourself. I just want to say to all the Scorpios out there, and all the people, really, the first thing people learn as a trauma response very early on in childhood, because they want to be loved and accepted by their parents, is to mask. And people who have damage, you understand that damage. You understand human suffering. So sometimes, and certainly you have room for human suffering. And so sometimes you might end up with a partner who doesn't even realize they're being secretive, because their masking is like at level 10, you know, new achievements unlocked and masking. And so you can't be hard on yourself for what somebody else learned as a trauma response so well that they're the goat of masking. That's not on you. That doesn't make you stupid. That doesn't make you so damaged that you can't see. And that certainly doesn't make you not able to trust your heart, Scorpios. Let's get a little clarification. Would you like to go back down? Where are you going? Or do you want to stay here? We're not sure. This is all new. Okay. Let's take a clarifier from the Modern Witches. 2 of Cups. It's the same as Cancer, weirdly. When that 10 of Wands, when that burden is put down, just like with Cancer, they needed to grieve. There is 2 of Cups waiting. That is the Wheel of Fortune. That is the chance. But you have to let go of the shame, and you are also going to have to trust your heart. You want to be cuffed. You want to be with somebody. You want the intimacy. But the minute it starts to get good, you think, I can't trust this. You can. You have to unlearn the idea that you can't trust yourself and understand that your hidden vulnerability and your understanding of human suffering makes room for other people who have human suffering and that are very, very, very good at masking. Scorpios usually wear their wounds on the outside. You know, sometimes Scorpio looks like a desk at detention. And then they get completely, blamed for everything, because it's easy to blame the Scorpio because they look like sex on a stick. They look like trouble. So sometimes you look for balance, and so you think you're getting somebody that looks like has their ish together and everything else, but really what's going on is that they're just really, really, really good at masking. And then who's going to get the blame? You know, Scorpios may be secretive, but they're not so full of facade that you kind of don't also know what you're getting. They're just magnetic and we can't resist, right? Y'all know I love Scorpio. I hope that's helpful, and I hope you know in July it's gonna really lighten up. There's no more treats. You ate them all. Annika, she fell in love with some Swedish treats that are very hard to get, but they're also like the only treat that's like also healthy. It's got all the taurine and the good stuff in it. Since she gets so little to eat, I have to be so careful. Are we ready for Pisces? Can we do Pisces now? Is that okay? I'm looking for a new deck. Let's use the Modern Witches Tarot to do Pisces. You want to do that? Pretty girl. Okay. There's no treats hidden in the tarot cards. All right, Pisces, 12th house placements. And then we're going to give away a reading. You did it. You made it through the whole thing. It was good. You took a little nap. All right, Pisces, let's see what we have. Ooh. Okay. Very, very interesting. The Fool. We have the Fool card. And this is a really beautiful Fool card. We are happy. We are ready for the journey. We're confident. And then there's an 8 of Cups. So this feels like Pisces this feels like a lot, right? It feels like the whole journey. This is going on the journey, and this is walking away and starting a whole new journey. It could feel like Pisces, you've just done like an entire... Hey, pretty girl. All right, are we back? My phone is plugged in, but I guess one of the ports does not work on my computer, so we're back. Yay! Okay. Okay. You got stuck? Okay. So what I was just saying is this feels like a long journey. Something you started, Pisces, it feels like you could have lived a lifetime in the last couple of months. And I am feeling that this is not just since the last time we all gathered. I feel like this is months. So I hate that it feels like it's heavy for Pisces. I don't want it to be heavy for Pisces. But also it feels like that fool's journey, right? It had to be something that had to be checked out. It had to be explored. It had to be it was unavoidable. That there was definitely pain involved, but I feel release from that. Also, I want to say that Neptune is in Pisces right now, and it's going to go direct. I talked about this, I want to say last Friday. Neptune is going to go direct on June 30th. And when it does, there's going to be a lot of fog clearing, especially for Pisces. There's going to be, Neptune is foggy. It's confusion. It's delusion. It's getting carried away with our thoughts. And so when that Neptune goes retrograde, it actually clears the fog, and things will be very clear. Lots of truth to be revealed. If you have questions about what you just walked away from, that you were so excited to start at some point, you will have complete clarity by the end of June, Pisces. I feel that I just feel like you've been through a lot in a short amount of time, and it exhausted you. Let's get clarification to see what's coming up. I almost want to pull one of these cards for Pisces. Let's take the Star Tarot. Hi, sweet girl. Clarify what's coming next. That's what I want to know. Okay, that is great. Okay, so I love this. I love this. I love this. Pisces. What's coming next is the Nine of Swords in reverse. This is sleepless nights, the thoughts that keep you up at 4 a.m., the things that drive us crazy and don't let us sleep. And that is exactly what Neptune can be like when it's not checked. Not sleeping because you're thinking of the conversation that you had 3 months ago and how that's affecting your life now or relationships, or did you miss out on an opportunity because you said the wrong thing or did the wrong thing. And Neptune a lot is, it can be your brain and your emotions running away from actual self-sabotaging thoughts. This is ending. 9 of Swords in reverse. Less insomnia, less punishing thoughts. And we also have the 10 of Swords in the upright, putting down the pain. Pisces. What's coming up is so good because it's decompression. It is peace. It is, it's the absence of, I hate to use the word torture, but it feels a little bit like torture, to be honest. Such a long journey in a short amount of time. It was like running the gamut of emotions. And lest you be accused of being over emotional or too sensitive or any of that, but it's actually really brave of you to go on that journey. You know, sometimes Pisces placements, quite honestly, live like 5 lifetimes in one lifetime, because they have to feel everything. It's like they don't have a choice. And so when Neptune goes retrograde, June 30th, whatever you are walking away from now, are looking at walking away from, just walked away from, I gotta tell you, you're going to get comfort and confirmation about you doing the right thing. And that none of that was wasted time. That's the other thing I keep hearing. Is that you feel like you wasted more of your own time. You didn't. That big journey was necessary. But there's so much clarity coming. So much clarity coming. Okay. Let's give away a reading. I kind of feel like, have I mentioned Sadie's middle name that I gave her? You guys let me know. Have I mentioned Sadie's middle name that she got? No, I haven't. Okay. So I did last Friday. Hi, Tanya. Are you sure that just wasn't to you, Juan? Okay, so this is going to be so random, but you can try to use your intuition. I'm picturing her middle name. I will tell you this. It is after a, I was going to say botanical, but it's after a flower. A very specific flower. So you guys guessed the first one that I see pop up on mine is for a half-an-hour reading. And I will let you know when I see it. It's also, I have favorite flowers to like get, and then I have like favorite flowers and like favorite scents. And it was also my mom's favorite flower, so that's how I snuck her in there. No one yet. Wow, I thought this would be easier. I will say it's also one of my favorite smells, like floral smells. The purple, are you thinking hydrangea, Gibbs? I think that's what you're thinking. I have a hydrangea bush. I like hydrangea, but it's not that. Wow, I thought it would be way easier. Gibbs, you're cracking me up with the bulb ones. It's not. Oh my God, you guys are like so close. This is interesting because I really did not think it would take this long. Juan, do you know it? And you're just not saying it because Juan never participates. I haven't seen it yet. Okay. So I'm going to give you a hint. It's very rare that you would see these flowers in a flower arrangement. They only last a day or so once you pick them. Yep, Will. Her name is Sadie Lilac. Oh, Neela, you got it just after Will. All right. I'm feeling really grateful that you were all so patient while she insisted on being tended to in the middle of our live, because this is so new. So Neela and Will, you both can email me. Yeah, lilacs are my favorite smell. I currently actually once a year you can get the lilac Febreze, and I love it. And I don't have a lilac bush here, but most of my houses, and growing up we had a bunch of lilac bushes. We had French lilacs, regular lilacs. French lilacs are more lush, but the regular lilac smells better. I even timed my wedding so that the lilacs would be in bloom, which they weren't for the first time ever in that week, which should have been my first red flag. But it's my favorite smell. Yeah, you guys kept saying hyacinth, which actually kind of looks like a lilac, or lavender, which gets, those flowers get confused, or the smells. Yeah, lilac candle. It's just my favorite. But it was my mom's favorite and it was my dad's favorite, so that was a way to like sneak in a little, because she just feels so faded to us. Within an hour I felt like I've had her my whole life. Yeah, lilacs are beautiful. So whether we buy this house or whether we get a different house, like that's going to be one of the first things I do is the lilac bushes going in. So I thank you all for coming. I thank you all for hanging out with me on a Saturday. There was just no way yesterday I could have the bright lights. Daylight was working much better for me. So if my eyes still feel like this next week, that's what we'll do again. happy weekend. I don't think there'll be anything tomorrow unless I put up a pick a card. And then next Sunday, it'll be Connie, Joe, and I. But she's off doing fun things for the weekend, so. All right, I love you, know you love you. And you can always email me if you have any questions. Also, I was talking about like how we parent different. I have a new baby thing. It's fairly new. It's within a month, but I don't think I've talked about it. So I have a welcome baby appointment where you get a keepsake chart, which are really pretty, and you can hang them on the wall, and it doesn't have all the aspects and everything, and I don't have any company information. It's just real pretty. There's a whole bunch of different there's a report, and there is a regular chart along with an hour reading, so you understand like your new child's moon signs or how their emotions might be, just little things to help parent. So that's new, and I'm going to be introducing series for all of those who want to do like monthly or 6 weeks check-ins. I will have a package price for 4 appointments. I will be doing the hours and the half an hours only, but there'll be 20% off, or yeah, something around there, like 18% off for 4 of them when you buy 4 at a time. Just because there are people who are frequent flyers, so, and so that'll be coming out soon also. And then hopefully I will fully regain all of my energy and my physical health, and I will be back to doing the monthly readings. And thank you all for being patient. Hope you have a great weekend. Bye. Bye from Sadie.